Hello and welcome to the Unique CPA with your host, Randy Crabtree. We're committed to creating a thriving community of accounting professionals who are physically and mentally healthy, fulfilled, and energized by their work. Our ultimate goal is to elevate the reputation of the accounting profession and vastly improve the lives of those in it. The Unique CPA is brought to you by Tri-Merit, the specialty tax professionals.
Today, our guest is Randy Crabtree. And hello, everybody. You may recall that 100 episodes ago, I joined you. This is Justin Grant, the producer of the Unique CPA. Actually joined you for 2 episodes, 100 and 101, when we reached that milestone. And this is another milestone. Somehow, Randy, we have reached 200 episodes.
That's really unbelievable, actually.
It is, and yet it isn't, because it's a good show that has become a great show and a community, not just a podcast. I think that's exactly why it's sustained itself as long as it has.
You know, that is pretty cool, though, the community aspect of things. I've met so many people because of the Unique CPA podcast and built so many relationships. And in reality, you know, the conference, Bridging the Gap conference, wouldn't exist without the podcast. And those together have really created a community. And exciting part for me is that community, at least Bridging the Gap portion, which is tied to the Unique CPA, now has actually a Facebook community, its own page. So it's cool to see that the people that are adding themselves to that Facebook page on a daily basis and seeing who's being involved on it is just like every time I look at it, I go, start to smile because, there's another person I really like and they're going to start interacting here too, which is cool.
That's very cool. And we're definitely going to be sure to get that link in the show notes because I know not everybody knows about it. So they're going to want to get on there and join everybody that we've got participating. So yeah, 200 episodes, it's really quite the milestone. 100 was, and it's a trite question, but it's one that's necessary. Did you ever foresee anything like this? And if not, because I know the answer is no, what did you foresee happening all those episodes ago?
Honestly, the journey that the Unique CPA podcast has taken me on, I never would have guessed in a million years what it's done. So, I had zero expectations. I was like, well, maybe somebody will listen someday, maybe I'll get a guest that'll come on and be with me. And honestly, I mean, I know this sounds weird, but I can get anybody. I don't mean it like that. But people will get on any podcast in reality.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so, but at the beginning, I was super surprised. Like I would reach out to somebody like Richard Kopelman was one of the first guests, managing partner of a large firm, very large firm now. And he said yes. And John Sensiba said yes. And Ellen Colton said yes. And Kimberly Ellison Taylor said yes. And Jennifer Wilson said yes. And like everybody reached out to, I just felt so honored that they would take time out to be a guest or at least have a conversation with me on the Unique CPA. So I never expected that. I figured I'd have to be hunting for guests. And there's just so many cool people in this profession that want to help, I think is really the key.
Yeah, that's that community aspect just of the profession overall.
Yep. And I say this often lately, I think, is that we are such a collaborative community as a profession that it's fun to see because we're not cutthroat, hey, you're going to take my client, I'm going to take your client. We're not going to share ideas. We share ideas nonstop in this profession, which is I really enjoy seeing.
Agreed. So recalling that 100 episodes ago, we tried out a new format. We did the Unique CPA happy hour together. And
yes, we did.
And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. We sampled some beers from around the world, including Scotland for me, because that's where I was. And of course, you were in Chicago at the time. And that was nice and it followed on well from the Beer Temple special episodes. However, we said at the time we were going to be doing that, here and there, and we have never ever done a Unique CPA happy hour again.
We have not. It was a good idea. It was fun. That might have been the beer talking. I don't know.
Well, that it was definitely something talking.
Yeah.
And we decided this time, seeing as it's 9 a.m. where you are presently, maybe that wouldn't be such a good idea on this occasion. But we do want to discuss a little bit about just some kind of changes to the format that we're looking at. So one of those is that you'd like to get a little bit more into the kind of technical tax talk. Now, the ERC is, alas, long gone at this point, and it provided a lot of that during its heyday, especially with all the fraud that came out of it eventually as well. You had Dan Choden on a couple times. You had Nick Panaleo of Trimerit come on. So these days, and now we're fully in tax season for last tax year, 2024, I know that you want to hit on a couple of possibilities and things you'll be looking at over the coming months. So why don't you go ahead and fill us in?
Yeah, it's funny because when we originally started the Unique CPA podcast, when Dana Plotke, who was our marketing person at the time, came to me and said, "Hey, we're going to start a podcast," my thought was, well, okay, great. And you're going to host it? I'm like, no, I'm not going to host a podcast. What are you talking about? And then I started thinking about it, and this was like instantaneous. It wasn't like weeks or days I was thinking about it. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about taxes because no one wants to listen to taxes every episode. I'm not going to talk R&D tax credits, which I love and I'm passionate about, but I'm not going to talk about that every episode. It just doesn't make sense. And so what are we going to talk about? Well, we've seen where that's gone over the years, but now...
Hey, keywords every episode, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Every episode was not something I wanted to do. Yeah. But there's, especially right now, with so much uncertainty with what's going to happen with taxes, and we're really getting news constantly on either somebody thinking, well, this could happen, or we're seeing that this does happen. So what we decided to do is we're going to, and this is, again, in the works, we maybe we'll be at episode 300 and we'll go, oh, remember when we talked about the fact we're going to start talking about tax a little bit? Yeah. And then we never did it, just like the happy hours. But I think we will. I think probably, once a month, maybe even less, or as, something happens.
Right.
We'll have a topic, let's give a good example here. Renewable energy tax credits. Uncertainty right now where renewable energy tax credits are going. And when news comes out, what we'll probably do is record an episode that, hey, here's what's happening. These are the changes. These are the changes that are going to start next year. So if you're going to do a project, start them in 2025. That type of, and it's still, to me, super exciting information is seeing what's happening, seeing it evolve, and try in real time as quick with us, it'll be like a week maybe.
At the most, yeah.
Right, at the most. That's a good call. From the time we record to the time we release. But we'll be doing that. Most of it will probably revolve around tax credits and incentives because that's what Trimerit is.
Yeah.
But there'll be other things. We'll see what happens with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act 2.0. And when that comes out, maybe we'll put an episode on, hey, here's what to expect. Here's things you should be, thinking about. Here's things that you need to accelerate into 25 or delay till 26, that kind of thing. And so that's what we're looking at. It's evolving. It is a discussion that's happening weekly inside Trimerit right now on our marketing and sales and marketing team calls. So I'm pretty sure we're really close on getting that information out so we can start to record the episode that makes sense.
Fantastic. And we are looking forward to that. It's nice because it'll make the podcast, it's already a go-to for issues kind of within the profession, but this is, you want a little quick update on something your firm doesn't have the highest level of expertise on. This could be really helpful. Just keep your ears open.
Right. And we'll announce it, obviously. We'll market it. We'll get the information out there. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a change of pace. We'll see. If I get bored after 2 months, maybe we'll stop. But if I don't, that's my problem is I get bored easily. And so that's why I need to keep things exciting for me. Sorry. And we try to keep them exciting for the audience too. But
thankfully, that tends to, intersect pretty strongly.
Right.
And I have a feeling every month and a half, 2 months, whenever news comes out, not going to bore you because it's going to be a nice little change of pace out of nowhere. So there you go.
That's true. So, hey, and I'm just honest. I say what I think. So
that's all we need. Exactly.
Yep.
So speaking of changes of pace, we thought it would be fun for the audience to get a little behind the scenes look at the Unique CPA because believe it or not, what you, the end user, receives in your ears every week is not in any way, shape, or form even relatively similar to what I receive in my ears.
So Justin's saying my episodes are messy, and then he fixes them up and makes them sound really good.
I'm being hyperbolic here.
No, you're right, though.
No, I am being. However, we have fun with it. And even before the 100th episode, I have to own up to this one. Mark Rees, who's part of the marketing team at Tri-Merit, he said, you know what would be a really cool idea? If you kept a blooper reel.
Yep.
And I completely did not do that for the longest time. So it's my own fault that all the bloopers that I have for us today that we're going to look at are from like the last 3-4 months.
All right.
However, I am grateful to you, Randy, because you always make sure to keep the supply of them coming to me.
I'm good at it.
I've still been able to come up with a nice selection here. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a little game out of it. I was careful to cut away the guest's voice, so you won't get a hint from hearing them which episode it's from. So I want to be able to see if you can figure out which episodes we're talking about. Oh boy,
pressure on me.
All right. So on this first one, let's just run right into it. Here we go.
So you're hearing it anecdotally, at least. I've said the word wrong, I think, but you guys all know what I meant. Anecdote. I'm going to keep going until I get it. We'll let it go. You're hearing this. All right, so let me see if I can say it first. Anecdotally, I can't say it.
Still gotcha, huh?
Yeah, that's a word I will not say anymore. All right, let me think about that. Who would that have been? It feels fairly recent, like you said, the last 3 months. But some of the shows that were released 3 months ago, I recorded 8 months ago or so.
I know,
or a year ago almost in those cases.
Yep.
But that was, I think, a fairly recent recording, and I'm just going to say that I don't remember any guests I've ever had on the show. I'm going to go David Lane.
Okay, well, David Lane just released last week. It was not David Lane.
Okay.
The answer is Dan Barinholtz in episode 187.
Okay, that was recorded a while ago.
It was for you a pretty long time ago, but the air date's pretty recent. And the funny part about this one, and one of the reasons I picked it, was that not only, Randy, is your energy and your enthusiasm and your go-get-'em attitude contagious, so are your mispronunciations. Here we go.
We don't know what the completion rates were with the PDF organizer. Obviously, that's just anecdotally.
Hey,
I'm not sure if I said it correctly.
What do you know? It's spreading.
Nice. Did he say it right?
No, he said it wrong too. So absolutely perfect for this segment.
Yes. All right. And I'm looking up that 187. There he is. Okay. I'm just looking on another screen over here. No, now I'm going to cheat because I'm going to pull up some of these episodes.
No, that's fine. And in the final cut, this is the other fun part about this. The listeners will not have heard that. They heard, I made it sound like you made a little joke out of not saying the word right and then just moved on instead of that, 10, 15 second sequence. So it's cool. We get to peer behind the curtain here.
Nice.
So let's go on to the next one. I did leave this one entirely alone, actually, so everyone's heard this before because you made a pretty good joke out of it. So here we go.
So you're a success. Hold on. Success. Got it. So you're a success story then for the profession. Left and came back. I kind of like that. So
yeah.
Yes, I remember this episode too. And this was fairly recent episode of recording. I'll guarantee that. I'm going to put money on it. It was fairly recent. And it has been released though, right?
Yes. All these have been released already.
Oh, man. It is not something I remember that for a fact that this was a person who left and came back, which is not a story you always hear. It's usually they leave and they're done. And I remember being, you know what? I'm going to go with Dave Hartley.
That is correct. Well done. All right. Nice. Ding, ding, ding. So, that was David Hartley of Anders, episode 193 on that one. So only, 6-7 weeks ago here.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Very nice. All right. So moving on to clip 3. Now this one.
Wait, before you do that.
Sure.
Just to remember, look and see how my memory is.
Yeah.
I recorded that one a while ago. I did not record that recently.
It's true. You did, and you still got it. And that's impressive.
Well, and it felt like it was recent. That's why. But no, that was recorded. I don't even know. I mean, that was 8 months ago. I bet we recorded that, if not longer.
I'm pretty sure it was before Bridging the Gap or immediately after it.
I think it was before. So
and I think it was before too, because I seem to recall I had to finagle a little bit on you guys referring to the conference this year, quote unquote. And so I had to,
Those are the other things you do, is make them timely when I don't make them timely.
Right. All right. So in the next one, this is fun because you may be because right now, in fact, if you don't mind telling the audience, where are you?
I'm in Healdsburg, California currently. I've been here yesterday was 4 weeks, and I got a week and a half to go. Kathy and I hang out in warmer weather than Chicago for the winter.
Yeah. And so resultingly, you may be one of the most well-traveled podcast hosts as far as where you are location recording wise.
Oh, yeah.
In the world. I mean, and that's not really an exaggeration.
No.
Although in this case, you might have been at home. I don't know. But no matter where you are, there can always be kind of practical issues that you're having to deal with in the middle of recording. So in this instance, the forces of nature were conspiring against you.
Now, let's go back to where we were, back to the regularly scheduled program. And we were talking about, give me a second. Justin's going to have to edit for a second. I lost the video there. And the sun is like in my face over here. Let me see if I can get these blinds down. Why can't I get these blinds down? I'm going the right way. Sorry, Justin, you're editing again. Oh, maybe on the other side. No, I'm just going to leave it. I'll just keep moving myself. All right, I'm going to start back up again. Now, I vaguely remember that, but I have no clue. I'll guarantee I wasn't at home when I did that because I don't have sun issues in my office at home. And wow, this is weird because right now, well, this is probably recorded at the old house, but then when I was thinking about this, the sun, I'm thinking about the old house because we recently moved.
Yeah.
In the new house, will never be a sun issue because I'm kind of up in a loft area. So it wasn't home though. I had to be on the road somewhere. But I'm just going to take a wild guess and say it was Michael Haynes.
You're not far off time-wise as far as releasing.
Okay.
However, it was Liz Farr.
Oh, that again was recorded a while ago.
I know. Globetrotter as well, Liz Farr, who, of course, made an attempt at walking across England and was unfortunately foiled by her ankle.
Yeah. When I met Liz for the first time was in New Orleans in 2022 is my guess. And she was walking with a cane because she had recently hurt her ankle. So yeah, Liz Farr episode. All right. I wonder where I was when I recorded that. I wonder if we can look, but that's, I vaguely remember the sun issue and obviously I don't know how to use blinds very well.
I guess, yeah. And I was thinking they're probably new blinds to you. So it's no wonder you couldn't deal with them.
Yep.
All right. And we've got one more. Sometimes this happens to all of us. We forget what we were saying 5 seconds ago. And in this instance, it was you. So let's check out this bit of self-inflicted deja vu that you shared with us.
What's going to differentiate you is these soft skills, these leadership, these communication, these relationship building skills, the leadership skills, the communication skills. And that is what's going to differentiate you in this profession, because that's what really puts your personality out there, which is what attracts people to what you're doing. Okay, so I said a couple words twice there, apparently.
Yes.
I assume you fixed that before it went out.
I did, and lucky us, I have the clip of it fixed so we can compare it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
What's going to differentiate you is these soft skills, these leadership skills, the communication skills, these relationship building skills. And that is what's going to differentiate you in this profession, because that's what really puts your personality out there, which is what attracts people to what you're doing. That was Really well done, Justin.
Thanks.
That sounded
what I
good.
do.
I tell people often, and they don't hear this in the recording or when we go live before we start recording. I say, hey, Justin's going to make us sound really good. So don't worry about messing up at all. He's going to take all their ums and ers and pauses and stumbles and all that. And that's an example of it right there. So
a little bit of sleight of hand, and the glitch in the matrix was fixed right up.
So let me think then. So I need to guess who this was, because this one's not ring. I mean, it's because I thought I didn't stumble. I thought I had it right. So this one isn't agreeing with me. I'm not getting it all, but this is somebody obviously we're talking about soft skills with. At least that was part of the conversation. Maybe not. Yeah. I'll just say it was Lisa Simpson.
No, it's a good guess, but it was Greg Adams.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Episode 197. So, boy, we only got 1 out of 4. You got David.
I don't listen to the show.
I know. That will make a difference.
I probably should. Yeah, and Greg was fairly recent. I think we only did that in November and December, and
I was hopeful you'd get it because of that, but no, you went back to David Hartley from May or whenever it was, but no, this one.
No, but that seems like something I would have talked with Lisa Simpson about, though, too.
Agreed, yeah. No, it's a logical guess.
Yep. All right. Well, that was fun.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoyed that. And before we close out, I know you also wanted to take a look at what you kind of feel will be the big issue of 2025, and that is private equity.
Yeah, every time I talk to somebody about private equity, I learn. I'm no expert.
No, but it's happening more and more, isn't it? You're hearing more and more.
We're hearing more and more. We recorded episode with Alan Colton. Boy, that was a while ago when the first private equity deal happened.
Oh yeah, that was it. That one was ages ago, but you had him on back and discussed it a little more, didn't you?
Did we do another episode? Wow, I'm losing my memory.
Or I do more than one show, so I may be thinking of another show.
Yeah, but I remember talking to Alan, like this was the first big deal, I think, or first of all these deals that started happening. I think it was Eisner Amper, and Alan basically said, this is not done. We're just at the beginning. We're going to see, and he was naming like top 20 firms or top 100 firms, that not firms by their name, but how many deals we should see.
Yeah, and that was, incidentally, episode 54.
Wow.
With Alan.
That was a while ago. In my mind, that was like October of 22 or something, or 21 even.
It was 21. It was November of 2021. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah, that was 21. So I remember Alan, and Alan's great, good friend of mine. I always loved talking to Alan, and he was, of
course, on at the Beer Temple too.
Yes, that's true. He was on the Beer Temple episode where actually, I think Kenji Koremoto got to interview him quite a bit. They were on a panel together, and Kenji was asking questions of Alan.
That's right.
And that was a fun episode. We're digressing, but that was a lot of fun. That was actually the pre-cur. I'm going to digress. We're going to go on a tangent here.
Oh, you said it though. You're not going to say you're going on tangents anymore. You said this last week.
No, but I changed my mind. I'm actually working with a speech coach right now.
Yeah.
I've written all my own stuff forever, pretty much, and I do a lot of presentations and at conferences and that. And so for the first time ever now, I'm actually working with somebody. At age 62, I realized that I could probably learn from others as well. And I was talking about the tangents I go on. He said, no, your tangents are great. Just, you don't have to call them out. You don't have to say I'm going on a tangent, because what you're saying isn't a tangent. It ties in with the topic you're talking about. So maybe that's what I was thinking, that maybe I don't have to call it out as a tangent, but I still like it. I kind of like I think I'm self-deprecating. Oh, there's almost a blooper there.
You caught yourself.
Yeah,
that's good. That'll be an easy edit.
No, we can't edit. We're going to show that I'm not obviously, I'm not perfect. Well, you make me sound that. I didn't mean to say that I'm perfect. And now I lost my train of thought. Oh, the tangents. Yeah. And so we did that. But Alan was great. And then we had Tim Petrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Tim was on talking private equity because they had done a deal recently. I actually recorded an episode on private equity that hasn't been released. It'll probably be released, maybe 2 months after this episode, which was with Alex Drost. And Alex had really keen insights on what's going on. And the way he said it is that we're in the second inning right now of private equity. So we've passed the first inning.
Okay. We've got a long way to go, apparently.
Yeah, a long way to go in this. And I think Alan would agree. I really do want to get Alan back on, and he and I have talked about it already that we should. In fact, after the Citron Cooperman deal, where they did the second round of private equity recently in the last month or two, I talked to Alan and said we should really get on and talk about what's going on again. And so we probably will do that. That'll be an episode that we'll try to get scheduled soon. Now, see, I'm putting pressure on myself because I just said it, so we have to do it. So,
exactly.
But yeah, I'm curious to see. There's definitely, in my impression with private equity, is there's definitely positives for the current firm owners from a financial standpoint. I've actually talked to people who have done it where they're almost immediately not happy with the deal.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people who've gone through it and they're very happy with the deal. Like with when we talked to Tim.
Yeah.
It's something that some friends of mine just did a deal that I don't think technically they're announcing it yet, but they said it's not private, but I'm not going to announce who it is. But they're happy with the initial portion of the deal, and we will see what happens there. My biggest concern, I have two big concerns with private equity, but I'm not going to begrudge anybody for doing it. I mean, there's reasons, and there's a lot of positives. There's, the influx of money so that you can increase your technology footprint, you can become more efficient, and efficiency is going to be key because we're lacking individuals coming into the profession, which I'm not going to say this is a tangent, but I did see an announcement where there's been an uptick in enrollment in accounting. So that's a positive sign.
It is.
But I've also, and you and I talked about this a few weeks ago, there's people who are looking to move jobs or get jobs in accounting that specifically are saying, I'm not going to go work for a private equity accounting firm.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in the coming years. It's not going to be immediate, but the coming years to see what that does. And then the other thing I don't know with private equity is just what the end game is, because you can't keep flipping a firm indefinitely.
Right.
At some point, we're just going to have one accounting firm if that's the case, or it's going to be, or we're all going to turn into public.
Yep.
Public companies. We are public accounting, but I mean, on the stock market.
Publicly owned, yeah.
Yes. And so, I'm just curious to see. I don't want to, I feel like when I talk about private equity, I have a little bit of a negative bent on it, but I think that's because I'm concerned of the culture aspect of it. I'm a very people-first culture, and I just don't see that historically has been private equity's way. And I did talk to Alan Colton about this, and Alan said this new wave of private equity, which now, we talked 3.5 years ago now, Alan and I.
Yeah.
He said they've learned. They understand that accounting is a people industry.
Right, because this is not their first bite at this apple.
Right.
By any stretch.
They've done it before.
Yeah.
And so I try to be not, the word isn't naysayer, but concerned, I guess, more so about it because, one, it's probably something, there's positive aspects to it. There's things that have to happen in the profession. It helps us to get out of that hole, when I often say the Sally mindset, same as last year, because private equity is going to come in and they're going to make changes. And hopefully a lot of the changes are for the positive. So we'll see. I'm curious to see. We'll probably do more episodes. Like I said, I really need to get Alan Colton back on because he's got his finger on the pulse of this. Dan Hood, Accounting Today, had a whole conference on it this past year that I went to. Met a lot of really cool, interesting people there.
And it'd be great to have him back on the show, too.
Yeah, Dan and I were texting just recently, and we do want to do an episode, probably both on his and on ours.
Great.
And the Unique CPA. We'll probably talk about the survey we did. We did this Accountants Professional Satisfaction Survey.
Yep.
We're just wrapping up what do you want to call it? The summary of it, but not just the summary of the data. Here's where we feel you can make changes to increase satisfaction levels within the profession.
Nice, like a practical analysis.
Yes, practical. You should host the show. You're much better at this.
I am actually right now.
You are hosting. You're right. I thought you were saying you're much better, which you are too.
Yeah.
I thought I had a big ego. Justin has bigger ego.
Oh no! See, I'm not any good at this.
No,
Totally
you're very good at
miscommunicated.
No. So that's one thing we're gonna talk about, and those are the types of things that this Unique CPA podcast has created, because those are the things that I learned from others, and then like, hey, how can we amplify this, or how can we build upon this, and finding out what creates satisfaction level and what creates dissatisfaction levels within the profession, we really felt was super important. And now hopefully we can take this data and make a little bit of dent in satisfaction levels on a positive aspect for people in the profession.
Love it. Well, that right there, that rounds off quite the roadmap for the show for the next few months to a year. And what a time for it with episode 200. I still can't believe we're here. And we've just pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah, 200. 300 will be 2 years from now. Man, that seems a long way off.
I know, and so did 100.
Yeah, I know. I'll be really close to turning 65 at that point.
Yeah, wow.
How long am I going to do this? Do you know?
I mean, I've got nothing on my calendar. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep going then.
Okay.
I'll see you again in 104 weeks from now.
104 weeks from now, yeah. Something like that. Well, I guess not 104, because that would be episode 304.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was thinking 2 years from now. All right, I'll see you. We'll see you in 100 episodes from now.
Sounds good. Thanks, Randy. It was good to join you, and we'll catch you next time, everybody.
Thank you for joining us today on the Unique CPA. You can find the show notes for today's episode and learn more about Tri-Merit at theuniquecpa.com. Remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting app. And join us next time for more expertise and insights on the Unique CPA. ProfessionalProductions.net